We have one more minute, or maybe less than one more minute. It is 7 p.m. Welcome to the August 3rd, 2021 Richmond Hill City Council meeting. Looks like a full house. We've got a lot of work ahead of us, and that's always a good thing. Thank you for coming. We'll begin by an invocation by Councilmember Cox, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilmember Ward.
May we pray? Dear Heavenly Father, we just come before you tonight, God, and we lay everything down at your feet. Lord, we just ask that you guide and direct us, give us discernment, Lord, and help us to understand what the needs are of our community, and God, then help us to act accordingly. We thank you for this day. We thank you for the rain. And we ask for everyone to have safe travel mercies as they head back home after this meeting. In your precious Son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. On our agenda tonight is a recognition of 3 new properties in Richmond Hill, all along Ford Avenue. A few years ago, Richmond Hill established what we call the Ford Historic District. This, in conjunction with the efforts of our Historical Review Board, are trying to engender a better and more aesthetically pleasing Ford area. Now, Ford buildings are you're sitting in one. In other words, well, not constructed by Henry Ford, but a Ford look. Ford buildings are usually white clapboard, black roof, black shutters, and so forth. And there's a certain look, and we've really been trying to build a brand, if you will. We don't have a downtown in this city, and so we wanted something that people recognize as Richmond Hill, and especially as they travel down our main corridor. There are 3 new properties, as I said, that very much symbolize exactly what we're looking for and trying to establish this brand. They all came in. They worked very well with our planning and zoning, in our Architecture Review Board, and being guided by and guiding really each other in what they were going to build, how it was going to fit into Richmond Hill. And I would just really like to, and the city is tonight, we would like to recognize their architectural excellence. We would like to recognize the fact that they are in Richmond Hill building, they are part of the community, and they are part of the fabric that makes up the Ford Historic District. Architectural Excellence Award, which I believe is the first that the city has ever awarded. This award is presented to recognize design excellence within the city of Richmond Hill that strives to protect the unique character and integrity of areas that embody significant elements of Richmond Hill's history and present a positive image along key entry points to the community. The recipient has added value to our community in a way that establishes an inviting and welcoming character along the city's highly visible corridors. The quality of development and harmonious design also complement the historic character protected by the Ford Avenue Historic District. Our first award tonight goes to Geo Vista Credit Union. If y'all would come receive your award, and we'll get a picture. I tell them this looks like Henry Ford himself built this. looks like it's been there for 50 years, and that's a good thing when you're doing a historic district. Right. Oh, yes. Okay.
Get closer.
You want us to get in front of the podium? Our next award, it's another bank, but they're old friends of ours, and they came and put this excellent building there, and that would be Great Oaks Bank, 42 Town Center Drive. And the council and I had the pleasure of cutting the ribbon at this building the other day, as we will or already did with the others. But this is a unique building in this. It's not a bank, but it's the St. Joseph's Candler Urgent Care. I was just speaking with their CEO, and he said they opened today, and you had 30 patients already? 30 patients by 5. Yes, anyway. There is obviously the need for this facility. And it looks great, as you can see. Once again, the four design elements, 100%. The next award then goes to St. Joseph's Candler Urgent Care. We will give our recipients a minute to depart if they would like to. The rain is looking ominous. We've got a long meeting coming up. What's that, sir? Oh, okay. We have our long-serving city attorney with us tonight, and his lovely wife, Judy. Thank y'all for being here. Ray has served the city of Richmond Hill for over 40 years. Understood.
You're good.
Council, next up on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Scholar. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Ward. Or Cox. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up is our consent agenda. It is full, or it is lengthy. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Fussell. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Ward. All in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries. We are on down to number 7, unfinished business. First up then would be an explanation from planning and zoning.
No. 5.
Yeah, we got 5.
Did I miss 5? Yeah, my bad.
Tried to skip you.
Chris. Can you come? All right, I've got it. Derek.
Got it.
There.
All right. I'm here this evening to request council approve the janitorial services contract with Janny King in the amount of $23,304. We bid it out in July, received 2 bids, and this one was significant.
Is the second bid in the package?
It is.
Council, any questions or concerns?
Is this our current cleaning service? It is. Any issues? Okay.
Dawn and I spoke with the regional manager prior to putting this on the agenda. Get guarantees that things will be correct.
Outstanding. Okay.
Council, any other questions? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the awarded contract for Jan King.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Fussell. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Scholar. All in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries. Number 6, planning and zoning. Scott Allison.
Good evening. We've got quite a bit here. I'll try to get through it quickly. First, we have you guys in operation as the Board of Zoning Appeals and an unfinished item regarding a variance. Mayor, you'll have to open up the Board of Zoning Appeals for that.
I hereby open up the zoning appeals board.
We have the approval, disapproval of the petition filed with the City of Richmond Hill by R.J. Reynolds Construction requesting variance to Article 6, Section 6.3 of the Unified Development Ordinance for the property located at 90 Rosemont. Variances are being requested on lot width, lot area, front, rear, and side setbacks. Council, you have within your packet the same information from the previous meeting. I've also included some correspondence regarding the, I'd say it's an example of justification for the request from the applicant, as well as one of the leftover items that was discussed at the previous meeting was the improvements on Rosemont. That has been confirmed in writing here that they would put $22,500 into an escrow account. That is a proportionate share based on the engineer's estimate for completion of that road, along with some caveats, of course, that we would design and finish that road and that it doesn't just sit in escrow, you know, in perpetuity. So you have those. That was when Chris and I met with the applicant based on guidance that you guys provided at the previous meeting. The applicant is here and can answer any questions you have, you know, technically related to the item.
Council, do you have any questions of the applicant?
I have a question. We had talked about 25%. Is that not, because it says ask them for bids, so we don't know what it's going to cost yet. Are we going to go with the 25% or just the 22.5?
The discussion that Chris and I had, we feel very comfortable with the engineer's estimate with the contingencies that are placed. So this essentially be the 25% of his estimate. He's got, again, I think there was a 25% contingency on it along with some others to try to build in because of construction costs and mobilization and things like that. But we felt comfortable with this number.
So this number could be above the 25%.
Behind you. This paving is only addressing the dirt portion of the road. It's not a complete repaving of that road.
Correct.
It's just extending it
extension.
to the end of the property line. And his percentage is only for the properties that abut to that, percentage-wise, yes. Yes. Okay,
Because the other properties beyond him would use it.
absolutely. And that's the city's responsibility. So,
Council, any other questions?
well, one of the things, and I'll just bring this up, I talked with Scott this afternoon earlier, and I appreciate the conversation that I had with Mr. Reynolds earlier. You know, as we go forward in our development and our growth in the city, we're going to see a lot more of this where we have lots that are existing lots that are going to need to be redeveloped because the house is blighted or it's a mobile home or something like that. My proposal in concurring with the variances is that we go back and create like a overlay that addresses these particular areas like Rosemont, like Carter Street, particularly on that corridor, so to where we don't have to go through this variance process every time and ask for new variances that are contradicting our, in this case, R2. I think that, you know, I've done a little bit of research. Scott's done a little bit of research. I think that we put together like a commission and come up with a proposal of how we address this, because this is going to become more and more of an issue as we develop down to the south, and you know, the new annexed area, you know, developers are going to be looking for other properties, and those are going to be the existing properties that are sometimes large lots, sometimes they're smaller lots, but it'll actually improve the overall value of the city and the appearance of the city. So I would like to propose that as part of this
For
in
the
improvement.
record in the
Yeah.
minutes. Okay. Not necessarily a condition, but just make
It's
sure.
not a
it's in the
condition,
record.
but you know, we've got to address the issue. And if we can agree to do that as a city council, then, you know, I can agree to the variances.
From a staff and planning standpoint, I mean, it's not unheard of. We have been looking into it. We have a conference coming up from zoning administration that we're going to pose the question to some of the planners and attorneys there. And, you know, we're not the first municipality that's experienced infill development.
I would agree. A good city is a well-planned city, so I would agree with.
And I can agree with Les. I think Les and I were on the same page at the workshop, but I think the concern I had was we just allowed the same thing, you know, a couple houses down. So I think I agree with Les that I think it's a good thing for us to go ahead and.
Well, I don't think we want to lose track of the point that, you know, it's an upgrade to the area. That's one of the big reasons I'm in favor of it. It brings that area up to a bigger and better level than it is at the moment. So that's why I'm in favor of it. Mayor, will you take a motion?
Any other questions? Yes, I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the request for variances for lot width, lot area, front, rear, and side setbacks as requested by R.J. Reynolds Construction.
Motion made by Councilmember Scholar. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Ward. All in favor? Motion carries.
And then from a standpoint of the previous meeting, there was conversation about the agreement finish Rosemont. We're comfortable with the 22.5 council.
I'm comfortable with it.
I'm comfortable with it.
I'm good. I think there's a consensus.
Then would we discuss that time, whether we're gonna take it from his property line all the way to the end? Is that
Yeah,
right?
what will end up happening is there's gonna be a bigger project that'll come before you guys. That'll be an allocation from likely SPOS. And,
Well, that's something, yes.
that we'll get designed, engineered, bid, and, you'll allocate funds from there.
Anything else for this issue? Next up, Scott.
Okay, now we're moving into the city council items. Just a quick planning commission report. The site plan for the end market, which is your next item on the agenda, went to planning commission for approval, and they did approve that.
Scott, let me just make a correction if I may. It's not at the corner of Harris Trail and Timber Trail. It's at the
Correct.
corner of Harris Trail and Highway 17.
Correct, sorry about that.
Okay.
That was corrected at the planning and zoning.
Yeah, but not on the agenda.
Copied and pasted it from the planning commission. Sorry about that. So moving on to that item, it's the approval, disapproval of the preliminary plat submitted by End Market to be located on the corner of Harris Trail and US 17, map and parcel number 054002. You have within your packet that preliminary plat where the property is being subdivided into a number of parcels. Just to clarify for you guys, you know, the actual end market is only encompassing, you know, one of those tracks. There's ability to have out parcels further up 17 down the road. Nothing's been planned yet, but this is because of the shape of the lot. It also falls off, there's wetlands.
Wetlands in there.
That's
in the
correct.
ditch.
But the actual project that we've been speaking about and for the application is in fact right there on the corner.
Council, any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the preliminary plat for Enmark on the corner of Harris Trail and US 17.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Fussell. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Scholar. All in favor? The motion carries.
Next, we have the item that was related to the public hearing. It's the approval, disapproval of a resolution creating the City of Richmond Hill redevelopment area and tax allocation district number 1, Commercial Gateway, adopting a redevelopment plan for the area and for other purposes. Council, you have within your packet the entire document that is the redevelopment plan that includes redevelopment area map in it. Additionally, the resolution can be found in your packet. This again is the step in the process you've seen we've done since 2019. We've been going through this process, so it still, you know, goes before the school board and the county for weigh-in and concurrence. It would not be effective. Would have to be adopted in its entirety by December 31st in order to be effective for next year.
Council, any questions? This is a long time coming.
Yes.
I think it's going to be a key element in redevelopment there on exit 87 and other areas. Hearing no other questions, council, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Ward. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Scholar. All in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries.
Next item I have is the approval, disapproval of the payment in lieu of tree mitigation of the city tree fund for Taco Bell at Ford Avenue and Oleander Street. We discussed this at your workshop. This is a $24,873 payment that's based on the cost for the trees as well as 1 year maintenance and essentially warranty on those. You have the site plan and landscape plan in your packet. The site's completely full of trees and the buffering in the rear. There's just not enough geometry on the piece of property because of one or two of the large trees that were right in the middle of the lot that needed to be removed. We have this mechanism for payment in lieu if it can't be mitigated on site. That goes into our tree fund and goes to trees on public lands, parks, you know, streetscape, medians, things like that.
Council, any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Fussell. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Councilmember Cox. All in favor? The motion carries.
Next, I have the approval, disapproval of a SPLOST 7 allocation of $3,150 for a Crossroads minor family historical information sign to be located at the Crossroads area of Ford Avenue and US 17. The mayor and Christy Sherman with our Historical Society and our Convention and Visitor Bureau has been working with the minor family on this for quite some time. I presented it to you in the workshop. They've approved the language, and what we discussed was the $3,150 sign that is the two-post sign. Its final location is still to be determined, but this allocation would allow us to go ahead and get it fabricated.
Council, are there any questions? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Fussell. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Ward. All in favor? The motion carries.
Okay, now we're moving to unfinished business. We have the approval, disapproval of the preliminary plat submitted by R.J. Reynolds Construction for the Rosemont Camellia Street subdivision related to 90 Rosemont. This relates to your first item that was in the Board of Zoning Appeals. It's the actual subdivision plat that coincides with the variance. It's nothing that you haven't seen before. It's been used as an exhibit throughout the hearing for this and all of the meetings that we've had on it. It is compliant with our subdivision ordinance now that the variance has been granted.
Council, are there any questions? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Ward. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Scholar. All in favor? The motion carries.
Okay. The next three items are interrelated from our previous meeting. These are the approval, disapproval of the vetoed petition.
To get into that, Scott,
Yes,
the
sir.
clerk will read the veto reasons into the record.
The submitted reasons from Mayor Carpenter for the veto are: 1, the City of Richmond Hill Planning and Zoning Board voted against the request 4-0. I didn't think it was wise with the redevelopment plan as it was proposed to disregard the findings of P&Z, which we have empowered to make recommendations to council regarding these types of decisions. If one considers P&Z and Councilmember Cox, there were 5 votes opposing compared to 3 in favor. I essentially joined the 5 opposing. 2, traffic and congestion concerns. Both the proposed entrances and exits to the development are problematic. Traffic generated by the proposed use and other uses permissible under the proposed zoning must travel through established residential zones on minor streets, leading to congestion, noise, and traffic hazards. 3, the request is not in conformance with the city's future land use plan within the comprehensive plan. 4, the proposed use may precipitate similar requests which would generate and accelerate adverse land use changes in the neighborhood, thus generating an undesirable precedent which completely fails to follow our land use plan as well as our future comprehensive use plan. And those are the 4 items. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So the 3 items are interrelated. We obviously went through them at the previous meeting. This is a little bit uncharted territory for me, but bear with me a second. So the way it works, my understanding is now that the said reasons have been read into the minutes, you guys are to again vote on the same items. And should as many as 4 council members vote to pass the vetoed measure, then the veto measure shall stand affirmed over the mayor's veto. If 4 of you don't, the veto stands. Did I get that right, Ray?
That is correct.
Okay.
One thing I would add is if council wishes, or if the mayor
I have nothing more to add to the reasons, but I do understand council would like to read some of their reasons for supporting the provisions
Exactly.
into the record. So,
All right.
Steve, if you would like to continue.
Yeah, I'd like to read
proceed with
into the
that, please.
official record the reasons that council members Ward, Fussell, and I originally voted for the rezoning. Number 1, an increase in affordable housing. Number 2, a high-quality product as dictated by the Uniform Development Ordinance. Number 3, current zoning does include high-traffic uses such as hotels, movie theaters, restaurants, and planned retail establishments such as big box retail outlets. 4, the developer had agreed to upgrade and widen a portion of Camellia Street, which would allow the city to upgrade the water and sewer lines, something definitely needed. Increased tax base to include SPLOST, loss, property tax, sales tax, along with adding additional rooftops to attract national businesses, etc. Number 6, the future land use plan does include a portion of the property as residential. 7, workforce support for the new interchange jobs. 8, this area has been identified in city records as one that is suitable for a tax allocation district for development. 9, a traffic study conducted by the Coastal EMC showed that the affected ingress and egress areas at or near the proposed development would not be adversely affected with the exception of Oleander and Ford Avenue, which could be addressed by making the exit from Oleander Street a right turn only exit. Those are the reasons that we voted for it originally.
Mayor, since that's been presented, do you have any questions?
None.
Okay.
They need to vote all three, because there's three of them, correct? Right? 'Cause they would need to vote 3 times, because there's 3 separate properties in the one
Yep.
zoning, okay? Okay. Making sure.
I'd also like to make a correction or suggest a correction to the mayor's reasons. In the May 10th, 2021 meeting, there were only 3 commissioners present along with the chairman, so the vote was actually 3-0 instead of the 4. Also, at the point of the planning and zoning meeting and their recommendation, a traffic study had not been completed, and traffic study is very comprehensive and suggests, as Steve says, that there's no, other than the Camellia Street improvements, that there are no other issues with the traffic on 144, and that does consider the roundabouts since they are under construction. So with that, I would say we need any other questions or comments?
Just a tag, Chris Rayford had not been sworn in yet. That's why there were only 3
Yes.
commissioners there, not 4.
Noted. Council, any other? Please proceed with number 2.
Okay. It's the approval or disapproval of the vetoed petition filed with the City of Richmond Hill by Simcoe Investment Group requesting a rezoning of approximately 13.69 acres with the map and parcel 0461-16201. The request is to rezone the property from R2 low-density single-family district to R3 moderate-density residential district.
Council, all in approval of the motion? How would this be worded? Approval of the veto?
They would vote as if it was the rezoning again.
All right.
So you need a motion from
Is
us?
there a motion to override the veto?
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we override the veto.
Motion to override the veto by Councilmember Scholar. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Fussell. All in favor of overriding the veto? The override fails. I'm sorry, all opposed? The override fails. Overrides require a unanimous consent.
Okay. Next one is the approval, disapproval of the veto petition filed with the City of Richmond Hill by Simcoe Investment Group requesting rezoning of approximately 0.86 acres with map and parcel 0461-160. The request is to rezone the land from R2 low-density single-family district to R3 moderate-density residential district.
Council, is there a motion to override the veto?
I'll make a motion, we override the veto.
Motion to override the veto by Councilmember Scholar. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Fussell. All in favor of the override? All opposed? The override, the veto is sustained.
Next, we have the approval, disapproval of the vetoed petition filed with the City of Richmond Hill by Simcoe Investment Group requesting a rezoning of approximately 14.83 acres, being a portion of map and parcel number 0461-162. The request to rezone the land from C3 interchange commercial to R3 moderate density residential district.
Council, is there a motion to override the veto?
I'll make a motion, we override the veto.
Motion to override the veto by Councilmember Scholar. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Fussell. All in favor of the override? All opposed? The veto is sustained.
Okay, so the next item was to be the preliminary plat, but it cannot continue because it would be in violation of zoning now that the property was not rezoned. So that falls off the agenda. Okay,
Anything
that's
else,
all I
Scott?
have. No, sir.
Thank you. City Manager.
This is another item that is not in workshop. I apologize for that.
Anyway, I apologize again for having something on here that was not on the workshop. Our system that, I don't know if many of you know, we have in our water sewer system, we have a communications system called SCADA that goes through and tells when lift stations are overflowing, when wells are down. It's all computerized, and it runs by a tower. We've had some issues in the past with communication because it's not like cellular based or anything like that. Without getting too much in the weeds, and if you got a lot of technical questions, that Charlie's here to answer them, but we want to replace this system for two reasons. One, because we've had some communication issues, and B, their system is proprietary, which means they own it. So whenever there's a situation or an issue with a repair, we have to call them. Only they can work on it. The newer system we're looking at is based off cellular, and with the newly annexed area, that becomes even more important from a communication standpoint. There was some confusion on when we bought the SCADA system, but it's been since before Charlie was here. It's been a while, so it's not like this is something new. This new system's $295,000. We will pay for it out of water and sewer, and I'll try to answer any questions you may have.
Chris, I've got two questions.
Sure.
One, the Grunfo system, did we bid that out?
We bid it between two. It was actually the more expensive one, but EOM is recommending we use that one, and Charlie could probably give you a lot more reasons than I can, but the main reason is the proprietary nature of that particular system.
And I'm going to guess that we've got sufficient funds in the water sewer fund?
Yes, sir.
Council, any other questions?
I just asked what the difference was. Do we know? In price, Charlie, you got that handy? $295 and $110.
Chris, what do we get for the 295 that we don't get for the 110?
It's our system. It's not anything that's proprietary in nature. Is that the biggest thing? You want to come up here and talk about all of them? I mean,
Charlie, I'm
biggest
guessing your
thing
people.
is, I mean, when they're recommending something like that, I tend. Sorry. Yeah, just the difference in the two. Come on.
Charlie, let me ask you on your way up there. I assume your people are well versed in the Grunfo system?
Yes, sir, we use it in some of our other projects.
Okay.
The primary difference is the current system is radio telemetry. It's all basically line of sight. The concern was with the annexed area, we're going to have some communication issues because we're already having some within Fort Plantation, River Oaks, and some of our farther out areas. So we thought a cellular-based system is much more agreeable to the expansion of the city. Another key feature is you get access to this system and can see and control a lot of these things. Through the web, it's all cloud-based, whereas our current system, you can only use it from a computer sitting at the well. So if you have an issue, you really can't peek in on it and see it without adding additional cost. So our current system requires a significant upgrade right now. So instead of investing that money in a system that's aging and is going to incur more cost over the years, we thought better to go with a more modern technology.
And what's the difference between the two bids? What was the difference between the two bids? The difference in price between 110 and 295?
Yeah. But there is an ongoing cost with each new installation, each new lift station as the city grows and annexes. The cost of this cellular-based system is significantly cheaper than the current system we have.
That's what I was going to ask about expansion, and also how do we retrofit the current lift stations? Is that going to be an issue?
It's a very, very simple
Okay.
change. There's very minimal wiring and reconfiguring. It's basically a cellular modem that ties into the controller at the lift station.
Okay.
And then their system, their cloud-based system, will actually take that data and portray it on a website, and you can see it.
So this covers not only lift stations, but the wells.
It can.
And-
Right now, we're just proposing the lift stations,
Oh, okay, just the lift stations right now.
but in the future, it could do wells. The current system is fine for wells in the immediate future.
And Charlie, this will take us through the expansion of the new interchange area?
Yes, sir, it will.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So when there's a failure, you're going to get a text message and say, Charlie, go to work?
I do get a lot of text messages.
Charlie, I'm guessing this one you could be sitting in your living room and go online and take care of it?
I can actually give you a real world for example. I can pull it up on my phone. One of our projects elsewhere, if the guys are having a problem with the lift station and need 5 of the inflowing lift stations turned off, I've actually been able to do that from like a couch and turn them off, and that saves the guys from having to go deal with it. You can monitor levels and see everything going on, and right now we don't even have that capability.
And it eliminates sewers.
Absolutely.
The biggest reason.
Absolutely.
So it shows capacity.
Well, you can actually see what's going on in the station remotely. That's
So I say you can see capacity pass through.
Council, any other questions?
Once again, I'm sorry this was not on the workshop, but it kind of came up last minute.
Well, the only other question I had is, when would this be implemented? How long?
I think they told us like 6 months, all in.
Okay.
Any other questions, council? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion, we approve the retrofitting of the lift stations with the Grundfos system for $295,000 to be funded out of the Water and Sewer Enterprise Fund.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Scholar. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Fussell. All in favor? The motion carries. We will now go into executive session for legal and real estate matters. I believe Councilmember Les Fussell has the, are we going to move that around or come back? Okay. All right. Let's hold off on that. I thought we were going to follow the agenda.
Okay.
All right. We're going to move things around. We have public comments. Miss Angela Davis wishes to address council. Miss Davis. Hello, Miss Davis. If you'll give us your, you'll give us your name and address, please, for the record.
Oh, I'm sorry. Angela Davis, 174 Sterling Creek Drive, Richmond Hill, Georgia. Okay, in regards to that property at 174 Sterling Creek, I feel like I have above and beyond proven every situation and more with and about that. The city keeps advising me to for me to obtain an attorney, but we financially cannot afford one or find one willing to help or take the city litigation on or suit. I've also tried means of the legal aids, but the legal aid based areas, but unfortunately our income is just slightly over. So at this point, I'm guessing, until something happens structurally with the tree, the roots, and other situations in question, or, endangerment actually gets addressed to my family and stuff, I guess there's nothing I can do other than just wait for something to happen. The trees are going into like all the utility things. I've sent pictures where I had everybody line up all, the 188 big whatever, and the city come out and spray paint all the areas. And all the areas and all the utilities I've been telling the city council that I'm having issues with have roots running right over those lines. I've sent pictures where I have roots going into my walls, massive roots, and one's growing up in the siding and everything else, but the city's not addressing it. And other concerns that have come to my attention since this whole tree thing and the backup thing started. As far as the water bills fluctuating since the backup, I feel I have proven that my water bill, because I'm very particular about a budget, has always been maintained from, 109 to 120. Since the backup around the January area, my bills have been going from normal to excessively high to normal to excessively high. First, I was told I had a leak, but I've proven there's no leak. I have tore holes open looking for leaks. I cannot find it. But yet, the city won't investigate the root area, or maybe even a sewage issue with the backup and everything. Because a lot of everything that's going on with the sewage smell in my house, the water smell issue, I mean, just there's so much going on ever since the backup. And now that I'm finding out, after all the repairs that I'm having to constantly do and everything that I have to keep replacing and doing my investigation on it, that, something's not right altogether. But I feel the city needs to investigate the situation because I don't think it's fair if the roots are going into the water line or the sewage line or into, whatever, that I have to pay that extra $80 a month off and on if it could be caused by the roots or by something that happened during this. Kind of like the, when they did the videoing on the sewer line. They pressure washed it out first before even checking with the camera. Okay, but before I was told everything's fine. They pressure washed it out before looking first to see if there was anything wrong. Then they did the camera, and then all of a sudden I have a crack, which is exactly lined up with the root in my flower bed, a root about that big. Okay, so in regards to the water bill, I feel the city should check out the tree, make sure it's not going through any of their lines, regardless of what side of the property it's on. The tree is the city's. They should investigate that because I can't afford to keep paying $200 water bills. So that addresses that. As far as maintenance of the trees and the storm ditches, I feel that that does not need a legal approach and should be taken care of and maintained for the safety for all residents. Kind of like the sewer cap that's off for the second time by my house. Wide enough where kids can crawl into this thing, causing, danger to children or anybody else that happens to walk past it because the grass is standing this tall in my storm ditch, like next to, in the city storm ditch area. Grass is sitting this tall. Someone's gonna walk through there and not even notice that lid is open. But as far as trimming the tree and maintaining other trees, especially, all over the place, like Piercefield, Sterling Creek, the Bottoms, Melrose, all that. There's a sidewalk that's being busted up by another live oak, and it's a bus stop. And literally, it is so broke up that a child could actually get hurt at this bus stop. I addressed the city about that too. I don't know what else to say or do. My back's against the wall. I can't get the legal help that you're telling me to get. But I'm having to be concerned about a structure I'm living in, a massive live oak that's taller than my house with roots coming out of the ground that much. We're talking 8-inch round roots. I told planning and zoning that they're more than welcome to drive past my house and take a look. On that, that's all I can say about that. My back's against the wall. I don't know what to do. I'm worried about my family's safety. I'm worried about the structure of my house. That's my home. I have a right to be worried about, and yes, I do apologize for my evident attitude once in a while because I'm a mama bear protecting her cubs. Can't help it. Other than that, I don't know what to do. On a separate issue, I don't know what else to say on that. On a separate issue, the tethering ordinance in Richmond Hill. Is there a way that they could, it could be like a stricter? Because, I mean, like, I was going on Facebook and I saw a picture of a dog that was chained, padlocked at collar to the fence because the owner was selling the doghouse for $100. Thin roof, wood walls on the doghouse. No water in this picture. Just tethered. I called a friend of mine that works for Animal Rescue, and she said in the same yard there was also 3 dogs one day, all tethered up like that. And she said there's nothing that can be done because there's no strict or no tethering ordinance. She either said strict or no ordinance. I mean, there should be some stipulation to that so people can actually report cruelty to animals, any animal. As far as the school zones, I live over there by the high school, and it is outrageous how many people speed through there, as well as most of the school zones. I sat there and had to watch a car slam on their brakes because somebody was coming across the walk, the crosswalk, right there at the high school, light flashing, slam on their brakes because they weren't paying attention. And then when the light is flashing, you'll see cars just zoom. Just keep going. And it's not the only, school zone area I've seen that happen in. And so, I mean, and then like in residential areas, how, they don't follow the speed limits nor the traffic signs. I can sit on my front porch because there's a stop sign right there and a stop sign down there. I will watch people just drive on through. Or they'll go through the residential area at 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. And I've already actually, sent a message or addressed that with city council and the police department. So, with that said, I mean, I don't know what else to say besides the litter that's in the ditches, the storm ditches. I mean, there's a lot of trash. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. It is our policy, and it is best that we don't comment on anything, but we will certainly take your issues into consideration. Thank you. Now for the legal and real estate, now the executive session for legal and real estate matters. I think Councilmember Fussell has a motion.
I do. That this mayor and council now enter into a closed session as allowed by OCGA 50-14-4 and pertinent to advice of the city attorney for the purpose of discussing the following legal and real estate matters. That this body in open session adopt a resolution authorizing and directing the mayor or presiding officer to execute an affidavit in compliance with OCGA 50-14-4, and that this body ratify the action of the council taken in closed session, confirm that the subject matter of the closed sessions were within the exception permitted by the open meeting laws, said resolution to be in the form of an attached hereto. So I hereby make that motion.
Motion made by Councilmember Fussell. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a second by Councilmember Scholar. All in favor? Motion carries. We are now in executive session. We will retire upstairs into the conference room.